Brought to you by the Connecticut Audubon Society. Young, gifted, and wild about birds. Grassland birds are thriving in the least likely place with Shannon Curley, PhD, and Jose Ramirez-Garofalo, PhD candidate, this Thursday, March 24th at 7 p.m.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shannon Curley. I'm a recent graduate at the CUNY Graduate Center where I did my PhD in biology. I currently work for the Freshkills Park Alliance as a researcher, and I'm an adjunct professor at the College of Staten Island.
And Jose, how about you?
My name is Jose Ramirez-Garofalo. I'm a PhD student in the Department of Ecology, Evolution, and Natural Resources at Rutgers University. I'm also a research associate at the Freshkills Park Alliance and an adjunct professor at the College of Staten Island in the Department of Biology.
Great. So tell us what Freshkills Park is and what it was.
So Freshkills Park is a reclaimed grassland in New York City. It's approximately 2,200 acres. And since it's a reclaimed site, it is on top of what was once the world's largest landfill, the Freshkills landfill. It's on the west shore of Staten Island on the Arthur Kill. Historically, before it was filled, so prior to 1948, it was an expansive salt marsh that was habitated by an array of species from seaside and salt marsh sparrows to even potentially sedge wrens and some other species that we're starting to see come back to the park today. Interesting.
And by landfill is a euphemism for garbage dump. It was the world's largest garbage dump.
Yes.
Shannon, tell us what you two do there as part of your work. What's your job at Freshkills?
Sure. So what we are doing is, first and foremost, we're documenting the species that are returning to this park. In 2015, Dr. Richard Beat found the first singing grasshopper sparrows at the park. And we've been documenting their return, their colonization at the park, which has been increasing every year since. Last year, we had 82 pairs of grasshopper sparrows at the park. So first and foremost, we're documenting the species that are returning. 2020, we had sedge wren that came in and bred for the first time and bred for 2 years in a row. They've returned to the park. So we're documenting these species as grassland specialists returning to the park, but we also want to know more about their movement within the park. So last year, we also implemented a color banding program so we can get an idea of how large the territory sizes are of the different species, particularly our grasshopper sparrows. So that way we can compare it to more natural habitats and other studies in the future.
And there's also, if I read correctly, a fair number of Savannah sparrows there as well.
Yeah, Savannah sparrows, yes. Savannah sparrows are our most abundant sparrow in the park. They're our most abundant breeding sparrow in the park as well. I forget the number of pairs we documented last year. It was upwards of 150, I believe, Jose.
Yeah, so it was 150 just on the eastbound. Park-wide, we probably have, over 300 pairs.
And how unusual is that for an urban area in the Northeast or the East or anywhere?
I think in general, I think the abundances of our birds, not just in an urban habitat, but across all habitats, especially at a park that's only about 1,000 acres of actual pure grassland. It's really, really, really interesting. Not only do we have one of the largest populations of grasshopper sparrows just in a very small section of our park, but the numbers of sedge wrens that we had at least 8 pairs. We weren't able to count the total number of young that were produced last year. But assuming all of them were at least partially successful, that's a really big number of sedge wrens at our latitude. So just in general, especially in an urban area, but in general, our numbers are really spectacular.
The thing I forgot to mention at the very start of this is that next Thursday, the two of you, and by next Thursday I mean Thursday, March 24th, the two of you will be doing the next presentation in our Young, Gifted, and Wild About Bird series, which it's going to be amazing. We've had some great talks, and this fits in really well. Can one of you give us a couple of sentence preview of what people will see and hear on the 24th?
Sure. So what we're mainly going to be talking about is this incredible transformation of the park, particularly focused on grassland specialists and how we're watching this community of birds change over time.
How relevant, or will it be relevant to people in Connecticut, where we don't have the world's largest landfill and we don't have one of the world's largest cities? We have smaller cities and smaller landfills, and some all naturally naturally occurring managed grasslands. So how relevant will it be for people who live in Connecticut?
Very relevant. So everything that we do at Freshkills is something that can be generalized to other reclaimed sites and even non-reclaimed sites. What we're seeing over the last, especially the last 6 years, with the re-establishment of grasshopper sparrows on Staten Island, the establishment of sedge wrens, increased abundances of Savannah sparrows, of blue grosbeak. These are all things that can be managed for at a broader scale. So these are all things that are very relevant for conservation practitioners in Connecticut, especially just given our proximity to each other in the tri-state area.